Okay. So for the last session, I'm lazy, so I will let you speak pretty much. I will just conduct the conversation with some images, and you will do the work. So first, you guys, I want to get some feedback. How was WWDC this year? So, who thought that was like very, very, very not good? No one?
Are we talking about the keynote or the whole?
The keynote.
Just the keynote.
Yeah. I mean WWDC, okay. WWDC in general. Who thought that was really not good? Okay. Why?
I was expecting some features and changes on SwiftUI and programmatic, like on the development field, not just like vision code.
Okay, what about you?
The style of presentations.
So no more presentations, they just throw the new APIs and that's it.
Every time.
Okay. So who thought that was like meh, not very bad but not that good either? Who thought that was average? No. Who thought that was pretty good? Yeah, okay. I will not ask why because we are talking about this. I thought that was actually also good. And who thought that was like amazing? Well, that's the guy, you were there. Yeah, we didn't get all the pizzas and stuff. So quick overview to see if you guys did your homework. Who watched the keynote? Raise your hand, who watched the keynote? Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Who watched the platform state of the art? So people who didn't, they...
Is this when it was happening or after?
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Who watched 10 video sessions? Okay, it was pretty much everyone already. 25 videos. I mean, I needed to, I met this sort. 50, that's me. And everything. Oh, okay. So talking about the keynote, we have this new MacBook Air, 15-inch. Who is planning to buy? Maybe. Why? Why going for this type of device and not for the MacBook Pro? As what's your use case? And Kevin? Can you just show that?
I like Air's keyboards.
Yeah.
Okay. So Air is much more lighter, and its design is like more sharper and more beautiful. And the keyboard structure is, I prefer that one instead of the Pro versions. And screen speed.
Yeah, I think we are seeing like a very thin line now between the MacBook Air power and the MacBook Pro. I think way thinner than what it was before.
I have one.
Yeah.
I guess the main reason why everyone's not getting the Air is, what's with that 24 gig limit? It's too small. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's like,
otherwise I would get it, but that's too small.
Yeah.
I think they should raise that to 64, then probably a lot of developers will get it. For us, for iOS developers, there will be plenty. But with 24, you know how it is. You will just run Kakao Talk on it, 6 gigs. I mean, no memory left.
Like how many gigs do you have on your current one?
Mine is only 32.
Only 32. Oh. Cool guy. Okay, anyone else on the MacBook Air? Before we jump? Okay. This. Who has it? I don't see any, like a lot of people actually owning that for now. Anyone on this device? Like, why should you buy? No one is interested. Yeah, same. I will not make the joke of the design, but the cheese grinder. I did. who has one of those? I mean, if no one has the CEO, I'm expecting this one even less people. I know some people that are working for companies, very big tech companies, they provide this kind of machine. I don't know why. I
It's
want
to keep you in the office.
I don't know. I prefer so much having like a portable laptop like MacBook Air or MacBook Pro, so I can just unplug it and work it. If you have this, then you're pretty much stuck. I mean, it's a very good machine, but maybe if you buy the wheels, maybe you can. Okay. Moving to iOS. So, what are the cool things? That's one of the best things that you guys saw. Name drop.
SharePlay.
SharePlay. Yeah, please. What about?
Danger.
Okay.
See, okay, see.
Wow, that's a very big improvement, indeed. So, what is anyone here working on a journal app? No, because you did.
Maybe they were.
Yeah, they were. Who? So yeah, they introduced this new journal app. So unfortunately, if you were working or are working in one of those apps, well, good luck. What else? Yeah, I remember we were watching the keynote live with a couple of people, like Emin and other people, and we were like, okay, so there is this feature. What will really work in Korea? Like everything about like Find My iPhone or the AirTag. So this is good, but this will not work in Korea. This is good, but will not work. I mean, I think one of the coolest things, like for me about iOS, was the live voicemail. I think that's not bad, especially in my phone. I think in Korea I took a phone from someone who was doing a lot of different things, and I'm receiving like every day tons of calls, I'm sharing my phone number with people, but actually most of the time it's like advertisement and so on. So actually knowing that it's someone that I really want to talk to is pretty good. So I think that's offline maps. I think that exists for years on Google Maps. Is finally here on Apple Maps. Yeah, the Hey Siri that now is Siri. Pretty good. We wait. Anything else on the new version of iOS?
Autocorrect.
Autocorrect? You were waiting for?
Yeah,
for that?
it's pretty bad.
Yeah?
In the past, so.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Okay, I mean, you're right. Especially when I use my phone, I'm like, okay, English, French, sometimes I'm like, no, it doesn't work well, especially if you are able to speak multiple languages and you have to switch. So yeah, I got it. Anything else on iOS? No? iPadOS. So, what can we say? A lot of improvement for PDFs.
PDF.
I think that's not bad. PDF autofills. What do we have?
Widgets.
Yeah, widgets. Yeah, for the Mac as well.
We have an interactive widget
Yeah.
and on iOS as well.
Yeah.
So
There is
that's
a
cool.
special slide. Flexible layouts. AirDrop continues when out of range. Sounds good, but I don't know exactly what does it mean.
I think from what I've seen, it basically continues over the internet.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah. We have the edit tab on the iPad. Pretty good. Maybe. Anyone else on the iPadOS? Who has an iPad? Just. Okay. watchOS. Anyone on the watchOS? Well, I remember. I remember when you saw that update, you're like, yeah, dang, that's what I was looking for. Like, not here in particular, but maybe the new mental health capabilities. That's nice to have. What do we have? Oh yeah, if you are very big sport guy, biking and so on, I think that's pretty good to increase your endurance and anything else. Don't hesitate, guys. You want to say something about that? Well, that one. So I will try it again. Who is planning to buy it? Maybe the presentation of Google makes using okay, I definitely need that. Didn't work. So only you. Why do you want it actually? Why? For which reason are you interested to purchase and the price doesn't scare you that much?
Well, first I almost buy all the Apple products when they launch. And well, I was at the event. I met the engineers who actually worked on them, and they do think this is the future and have a lot of great positive reviews. And I just wanna hop in, try it myself, and make ads. You know, when the Apple Watch first came out, there was a lot of watch ads. You know, those who came in first, maybe they had a better chance of making some money. So yeah, when this thing come out, like 3,500 is expensive, but it can be an investment, I think.
Yeah, well, I have no problem spending like 3K on a MacBook Pro because I see the value, the return. But on this device, not yet. I think for like consumers, maybe 3.5K I think is a little too much. So maybe you guys have seen on the news that Apple is also planning to release like a cheaper version, like less quality on the screens and so on for like 1.something K. But I see that 3.5K is not too bad if it's a B2B market. Like if you have like for a B2B use case, like for safety or something like checking any product, or I think 3.5K is actually a decent price. Same for when the first XDR display came out. And it was like, oh, 6,000 for a display, that's too much. But actually, the people who were working in the film industry, they were used to work with like 20K monitors. So actually, in that case, 6K is actually pretty good. It's pretty good like discount. I like the fact that when I saw that you have your Mac and then you have like an external, like use it as an external display, I think that was pretty cool. I saw myself at the Starbucks like this working. Well, anyone on the Vision Pro? Anyone want to say anything?
I think it's something that we wanted to try for sure because it's high quality virtual reality. It looks beautiful, right? It looks very fancy. But to buy it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think people will rush.
Money for something. I'm not sure what I need.
Yeah, for now I see it like as buying something 3.5K for like 1, 2, 3 days. You're like, wow, cool, and then you will stand on my shelf on my desk, so that's the idea for now. But I think we will see a lot of people rushing to the App Store the first day of January, try it out, and then we will actually see if it's good or not. Did you see there was a journalist who were wearing that for like 40 minutes, something, and she had like red marks on her face. I'm not saying that you will do this for everyone, but for me personally, that's the reason why I didn't purchase the AirPod Max. Because every headphone I put on my head give me headaches. So it's just me, and it will be good for any other person, but maybe there will be some people who cannot tolerate this kind of device. Maybe it's because it's heavy or yeah.
Are the glasses friendly?
If you, but by what I read on the little line in the website, you can purchase some additional prescriptions, so it's possible. I don't know how does it work and what will be the price, but technically, yeah, you can
Buy
adapt.
that now.
But technically, you could be able to add some prescription lenses.
Maybe I will try it this year. Not Apple one, but Apple one, other companies.
I've tried the Oculus, but it was like just playing, saber laser, saber. I don't remember. but just in your game when you do this, but not in your like more for game and fun, not for something productive like that. So no idea. Anyone? Yeah.
Personally, I don't think I'll feel 20% comfortable wearing that gear. But I'll definitely try it. It's cool and but to feel 100% comfortable in terms of VR, I think the wire should be removed. And that gear looks very uncomfortable. So, but I think that's a really good invention, and that's definitely going to pave the way to maybe they will make contact lens for VR or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very huge step.
It's the first iteration, so usually they use this iteration to see what perform and what they can do best. So just the beginning, I suppose. Yeah, behind.
It's really interesting to see that the product at WWDC, but I can say I'm not going to buy that for now for sure because of the battery issue. They said it only lasts 2 hours and you always have to bring the other pack and use your pocket or something. Yeah, so I think I'm not going to buy it for now.
Yeah. Can we move the mic on the
So yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's like, it's new, it's very like uncharted territory, I guess that's the word.
shiny?
Yeah, it's shiny, right? But that's literally all it is. And maybe it's because I don't have any creativity whatsoever. I think we have to wait like 4 or 5 years before smarter people than us will they'll find some use for it, right? But at the current moment, it's just 3 monitors.
Yeah.
But really expensive. You can't really move around with it because you're still tethered to the wire, right? So it's not like you're maybe walking. Like, can you imagine somebody walking down the street with that right now? It's like kind of weird, right?
Well, I can definitely think that's possible.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, that would be like a step toward the sci-fi movies where you see everyone in the metaverse and like, ready, like everything is moving.
Like cyberpunk or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no.
But think about that. You can use the Vision Pro and check the Earth and find treasures in different continents. Yeah, that's possible. It's so interesting. Yeah.
Actually, it is notable that Apple announced the concept of the spatial computing at this keynote first of all.
Yeah.
So, which is different with other like metaverse used by the other big tech companies, including Meta. So I think we iOS developer at least try to experience this product to feel the difference between the normal, the metaverse, and the new concept, which is the spatial computing. Yeah. But to buy it is a little bit expensive.
I love the sentence. I think that was the first sentence of Tim Cook when he said, "Oh, this is the first device when you don't look at it, but you see through it." I think that was awesome. The sentence. It was like I was almost like buying the submarine. So I think there's a lot of promising things coming, but yeah, the price is a little bit problematic for now. Until we see a real use case. Yeah.
One weird question. So, what was your idea before this Vision Pro about metaverse?
About this development of this VR set, and like after Apple come up with this Vision Pro, and now everyone loves and everyone is like wants to like go to metaverse. So how was your like thinking about metaverse? For example, mine was negative, like don't agree with Zuckerberg's ideas. Like,
but I think I'm pretty much same as you. I didn't like the idea of the metaverse, but I think this is different. It's not. I don't think it is really metaverse, because I think when you look at Meta keynotes and so on, you don't. It's like it's really VR. It's really virtual reality. So you don't see you don't see through. But I think this is more like AR, augmented reality. So you still see your environment, and it's not like, oh, you don't buy a house in a virtual world. It's more, I think it's more down to earth, like actually like seeing the usual hub that you are used to, see enhanced experiences. Like for education, you see kids like looking at the space, and maybe looking at inside the ocean to learn. But I think I see the use case here. I think that's pretty good. Nothing like VR where you are in a virtual world, and it's like I think there is a difference. I don't know if I can explain myself pretty clearly, but I see a difference between what. So I think we cannot we saw the need, but I don't think we can compare what Apple is trying to do and actually what Meta is trying to do. I think it's different. I mean, they use the same device, kind of.
The mission is different.
Yeah, I think so. Anyone on the Vision Pro or move on? Okay.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have a disappointment issue on that. I was expecting some kind of Copilot, another improved Copilot version for Xcode. I was expecting that, really, because we have Copilot for JetBrains products and Android Studio and, for example, Visual Studio Code.
Vim, don't forget Vim.
Yes. And nothing for Xcode. And my Xcode is still eating up a lot of my RAM. And I was expecting some like features for that, and Copilot, maybe Xcode pilot for that. If they like sell it, like if they sell it, the subscription for $60 a month, like they would be making fortune for that from that. So.
Okay. So I hope they are hearing this. I heard they are hearing you, and next year maybe we see a 69 because 60 is not the price.
Thank you. That was my takeaway from that, and I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to Swift. So there is it's kind of as Eugene said, I set that up as a like treasure hunt. Like I'm not mentioning what is it, but if you guys did your homework, you can find what's the topic around this update. So does anyone know what's the update concerning that?
SwiftData.
Fine, so you take the mic and you explain.
I haven't already watched the session.
You didn't? So before we were used to use like core data or GRTB, like MySQL, ORM or Realm, but now Apple introduced SwiftData, so a very easy way to persist your data information like throughout like refresh and so on. So just with the local macro, I suppose. Then you have also attributes. You have also like uniqueness on the attributes. You have also this original name. If your data has, we're using like snake case, and now you are using camel case in order to not have like a migration just to rename field. You can use this original name. You have also relationships and like the effect if you delete something, like is there like a cascade effect or nothing. This treasure here, I didn't really understand why they put. I mean, I think that was just to explain the way this new attribute, like this new property. But this technically said that if you use the attention, then you will not persist in the database. So you can have it here. For example, this one will be persisted, but if you proceed by attention, this will not be persisted in the database. So it's just maybe it's a field that you use just for some use case, but you don't want it to be persisted. So this is why you have. Anything on SwiftData?
It is very useful, but can we use it for like business applications, or just like as we were using core data?
Well, I think they are still pushing some of data for data, as I've seen, but I think this is starting to be like the norm. Like when you start a new app, use this one, with the you have your model, and then you just add model, and then it's persistent. like this. I think it's, in the future it will like try to be at the same page with the core data, because I think you can. There is more in the session, like migrations and so on. So it's pretty solid. There's a lot of things you can do. And I think the same thing you can do in core data, you can pretty much do it here. And I was using core data for some time. It's kind of cumbersome that it's not very well made for Swift. You have your files, and yeah, you know what I mean. So in this way, you don't have this external table that you have to write, and then there is no Swift. It doesn't work well with Swift. So I think this is if you work with SwiftUI, this is if you are starting with you. But this is good because there is a lot of new updates. So for this Seoul iOS meetup in the following month, I'm expecting a lot of you guys to present about some of those topics, so we can know more about those. Anything more on SwiftData?
I guess finally, right? I think we've been waiting what? Yeah, at least 4 years. When Swift came out, we were like, where's the data?
I think that's why many people were using Real or GRDB, like the SQLite wrapper, because core data is very difficult to work with and not very great. Okay. That one. So, what is this topic when you see that code?
Macros.
Correct. Can you tell us what macros?
I don't even know that why you have a macro with an act symbol and then you have one with a hash. I have no idea what's the difference. That's in my it's there. It's there on the list.
Yeah. So So you're correct. And I watched the keynote, and actually I don't remember exactly as well, but I think it's pretty neat that this allows us to have SwiftData, have the new observable pattern that is way better than what it used to be thanks to macro. And I think there is a lot of things that you can do, and the possibility for people to actually implement macros and release them, and for other people to use. So we will see a lot of macros, a lot of things that make you a better developer, that you can just embed on your code and just profit technically. So yeah, I think we need a complete session of macros to actually very understand how powerful it is and how to build your own. There is a session about that, of course. Anyone on macros? Okay.
I guess I'll just say it's probably going to change a lot of how we write Swift.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like it's one of those, first we got property wrappers and result builders, but this is next level.
And we will see that with the new observable pattern that is coming on the slides, how you can reduce what we were used to be doing. How about that one? That one, I thought that was cool, but I don't know if you guys pay attention to that one. The principle of ownership. So this is taken from the REST programming language. So this technically, usually you were not supposed to be using the abstract, but by using the I don't know. I think that's the first time that I see the tilde symbol here. So can I call it a protocol? Copyable, so that makes you able to use this daily function. And the good part is, if you're working with some, unsafe pointers and so on, you might encounter a lot of crashes. And I thought that was pretty cool. That when you mark your function as consuming, then you give up ownership to the function that is the method who is actually calling that one. So then, for example, in their example of the file descriptor, so instantiating the file descriptor. And they were like, okay, so in the normal scenario, you declare, then you call write, and then you close. And if you forget to close, it's fine because you have the daily here. But if you close before actually, and then using the property again, then you will have an error. And I think that's pretty cool. So you will not forget to that if you close this. if you close the property, then you will have an error if you try to access it later. So I think that was pretty good. What about that one? I don't think there is a name for it.
I think we should also get rid of curly brackets. In the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
It's like,
No more characters.
I mean, it's good that now when you return from an if else or switch, you can assign directly, but
Yeah. Like just have like JavaScript where if you have only one line, you don't need the return. Why not? I think that was pretty clean. Like instead of having like ternary operators, having this clean syntax. That's something that's groundbreaking, but I think it will make your code like very, very clean. And this works with the switch statements as well, if else and switch statements. Now, what about this? Is everyone using C++ in this application? Had trouble like reaching here. So, can you tell us about? Are you happy about that feature? C++ interoperability.
I'm using C++ those libraries as a supporting framework, I should say, but I did not use the new feature or like enhancement on that. But I'm going to try, like see how it goes, like if I am embedding or like, you know, like if you used, that's a very problematic thing that you always like encounter C, C++, sometimes like Objective-C libraries. So that would be great if it really works.
Maybe one inside over here.
What is this flag doing?
It's like, so you don't, before when you had C++, you needed to bridge with Objective-C in between. But now you don't have to, so Swift can code directly to C++ code.
That sounds very, very impressive.
Yeah.
It's like a new feature, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. For like deeper, and especially when I'm seeing this, I think it's a step forward, building like having the same core functionalities for example, if you have iOS and Android, having your core. I think that's a feature that exists for quite some time in Kotlin, for example, being able to code directly to C++. And I think if you are a company that has its own business logic models in C++, being able to talk to like this C++ code in Swift and in Kotlin to have like not have twice the same business logic, I think that's pretty good. Anyone else on C++? It's not very fun. Okay, SwiftUI and UI frameworks. So we talked about that one, the new observable pattern. So thanks to macros, so you don't need so migrating from observable object to that new pattern. No more observable object, no more at published, no more at observable object. I think that's pretty good. That's one of the benefits of having macros, that you can have this kind of observable logic without the external code. So, anyone on that? Are you excited about this? Especially,
I'm really looking forward to when they stop changing KPIs every year, and the SwiftUI may actually begin to be productionized.
I mean, if you are working with SwiftUI, you should know about this behavior.
Yeah, but I don't want to have like 3 different things for the same implementation.
But it still works. Like the previous way of doing it still works. You can do it. And there's I think use cases when you have to do it. But migrating and just having a better way, I think better than nothing. If I were doing nothing, we're like, what? They don't do anything. And then they do something. Why they keep doing it? They do something. So we are going to the some good thing here. Anyone on this? Oh, yeah.
I think macro makes the code more cleaner and sure. So I think it's very good to implement the past legacy codes to their macro code to fix their features.
And talking about that, I also like the fact that with macros, even though it's hiding a lot of code, there is always it's one click away to actually find what it's actually doing, to actually see what macros are, how they are helping. So I think that's pretty good. We might be like, oh, in the first time, I'm like, oh, I just do this and it works, but why? Then being able to actually go deeper and actually find what is changing and how it is helping, I think that's pretty good. It's something that everyone can see. Okay, how about that? I think that was interesting. Anyone knows what was that feature?
Is that the assets finally have generated?
It's not yet. Soon. That's not done. Oh, anyone?
Is that the core data?
Not the core data. There is this hint.
StoreKit.
Yeah. So StoreKit for SwiftUI. So I mean, kind of as a UIKit guy, I'm kind of jealous of that one, but it will not be that hard to implement. But having the possibility to just have a store view to just display your product like that. I think it's good if you have like a very quick app that you side project, and if you have to very customize your in-app purchase screen, that may be not enough, and you can work and provide best things. But I think we have in our side project we have a lot of apps when we say, "Oh, buy me a coffee" or anything. And I think that's pretty neat. You can do it like in one or two lines. And this is for like product, and same for subscriptions. So giving you like everything like trial, reading code, and so on in just this amount of code. That's pretty good. So Umo was talking about that he had this meetup with the Revenue Cat, and on I think that was last Monday they had also like a recap of WWDC, and they put the accent on StoreKit. They were saying that they were talking about that feature because it impacted their business, and they were telling that that's pretty good. Maybe if you need something more custom, like we have a lot of big apps that have like pricing that is so many variables, and maybe you will still need to implement it yourself or use Replica, but there is a lot of people who find value in that, I suppose. And building this page, it's just this amount of code, just giving your background, and I think that's pretty good. Anyone on StoreKit for SwiftUI? What about this? Yeah. So for SwiftUI, brand new keyframe animator and phase animator. So to make your SwiftUI code a lot better animations. Right? Anyone on those SwiftUI animations? Go on.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool how they now automatically do the screen animation. They will look at the gesture that you did.
Yeah.
And they will take the velocity and apply it to the animation, so it kind of just feels more natural. Yeah, that's going to make a lot of apps feel just
So moving to what is this one? Correct. So are you guys a big fan of widgets? Like what are you? Because I don't feel myself using widget that much, except maybe the wall clock to know, the place of the work, what is the time, but like, oh, that's good, but I was still not using that much widgets, so it's good, but I don't see how I will actually use it more than what I was doing. Anyone?
I heard that widget became more interactive than before. So maybe now is the time to figure out about how to use this widget to interact with the user.
For example, instead of going to music player and then selecting my playlist, I just directly go with my interactive widget.
Yeah.
Or when I need to check to create one event, for example, on my calendar, I just use widgets only, not app. I delete app, just use widgets.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Anyone? Especially now that we have on iPhone, iPad, Mac.
No, just skip the app instead of app, the widgets.
Yeah, but you cannot have a widget without
No, app will stay, but it will not be on your main screen.
Yeah, you put it in the app.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the talk, so that was the session about interactive widgets, and I don't know if there were more, like Easter eggs, so to speak. But it was kind of funny that. So maybe it was because I'm French, and when I saw the croissant, then I thought, but it was like starting like this, and then in the next slide was like this. So I was kind of funny. I don't know if they put more of those in the sessions. Maybe I should pay more attention. What about that? So this is actually not new for iOS like 17, but there were no resources, no video resources about that. So they actually presented it because we saw on the Google talk that he was actually using that pretty much. So I think that was introduced for iOS 16.1, if I remember correctly. But they made a session on this WWDC explaining how to use it, what's the best practices, and so on. But I don't have an iPhone 14 Pro Max Giga Ultra, so I can't use it. Anyone is hyped about that? Umo, you hyped about this? You like this? Like the live activities?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah? So who has the latest iPhone with the dynamic island? So, I mean, you're the only one who can. Do you see a value on this? Do you like it?
I liked it with, I think it was Uber.
Yeah.
That was very nice. I mean, it's nice, and I like it. Like, not the actually this expanded view, I don't like it much. I like the compact view. You can show more information on, like, if you're listening to music and using maps, it will show both. So I like that. The expanded view, honestly, if I'm tapping and doing stuff on it, I might as well just do a single tap and do a hold and just open the app. Because for this, you need to do like a long press, which will take longer than if I just do a single tap and open the app. So I think this is better on the lock screen. Because on the lock screen, you can see it.
It's nice. I didn't know this. What about this for the people who is using still UIKit? Okay. Don't be shy, raise your hand. It's good. It's good to be using UIKit. So what do you think about that one? This new view controller pullback. View is appearing. Because I saw myself with some, like, when you need to work with the real trait dimensions, like when you do like a frame dots something, like multiplying this by the number of, like the frame size or frame width, frame height. If you were doing this in the view will appear, then it was 0 because it was not the measurement were not loaded, and if you did it like later, then it was actually pretty too late. So having this new view is appearing, then you can actually use that code that you were using in this one, and you will have the real loaded value of the width and height, for instance. So that's actually, I think, pretty good for people using UIKit. I've had this type of problem before. Anyone? I know it's UIKit, but there is a couple of more slides on UIKit, so bear with me.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's also a bit kind of funny how they call it. And also, you could just use layout subviews, and just every time you do a resize there.
Yeah, but
So
do you?
yeah, it's convenient, but it's
Agree?
This is back the close, nothing back the close.
Yeah, well, that was pretty funny. Okay, something that I thought that was good because actually, for many times, that didn't work. Like, how many people had problems with the status bar, changing the color of the status bar. Like, they had some APIs to change, but never figured out how to make it work. And seeing that, I don't know if they actually fixed the previous problem, but introducing that now, it depends on what is the background color. So, and then having the possibility to have, if the background is dark here, having white and having black on the other side. I think that's not groundbreaking, but I think that was good. That was a nice update.
Is this automatic?
Yeah, if you use the default,
If you have just black background,
That-
that would be white.
that should be. It's a default status. So if you use, like, if you don't override, that should work. Okay. Yeah, and some more UIKit. I think that was cool, and I think maybe the SwiftUI people, they might want this as well. So having like a couple of screens that are pre-made for you, for example, the empty screen, being able to pass images, text, and so on, and just call ViewController.viewIsAppearing as this. I think that was cool. For empty, for loading, and also, but and here we use, that's funny, we use SwiftUI to then feed it back to UIKit, being able to pass any SwiftUI views that we want. I think that's pretty good, especially if you have too many things custom, then you don't need it. But I'm seeing a lot of apps that I'm also building that try to keep like Apple design as close as possible. I think that's pretty good. Anyone on this? No? What about that? What is it?
Animated SFSymbols.
Correct. So, like out of the box, having some animated UI symbol that you can use and programmatically like change. It's not like just automatic. You can make it like an infinity or just stop them at the first occurrence or add vertical occurrences of the animation. I think that's interesting. I think that was cool. It's available for, it's in the, I put in the UIKit like kind of group, but it's available for SwiftUI and UIKit at the same time. TipKit, pretty good. So, a lot of libraries were implemented to actually give you the ability to add advices, tips on your layout, what to use and so on, like onboarding, so to speak. And having like an Apple, like having it the default frameworks, libraries to be used. I think that's pretty good. So different, 3 different use cases, like the bottom here, like that, and on top. I think that's yeah.
Is it able to implement the tip in the system level, not in the app?
I don't believe. What would you like to do with this in the system level?
Like is it organized by the iPhone OS, not inside the app?
Can you repeat? Like,
Or maybe I should have lost something.
no, it's so this is some code that you can implement.
Oh, okay.
That's this. So you can implement this to add tips to your app anywhere you want. Anyone for the? No. Okay. Good. Xcode. So what about that? That is not brand new because it was also available for I think 14. The ability to uncheck watchOS and tvOS, but then they extended it to iOS. So technically, if you just uncheck, I checked this morning. If you uncheck, like if you just want the bare bone Xcode, it's like 2.88 gigabytes. So way better than the terabyte that it was before. So the ability to just check what kind of simulators do you want and download them maybe later, additional, pretty good. What is this?
Swift background for previews.
Yeah, new previews. So, and especially for UIKit, it's so good. It's so easy to just preview. I don't know if you guys, the one who were doing UIKit, you were using the Christopher Zablowski library, like Inject. Yeah, that was Inject. I was using this just to have this preview on UIKit. That was working way better than what they were doing before. But now I think we don't need it anymore if it works correctly. Just having to, like, being able to preview your UIKit controllers like that. I think that's pretty good. Same for SwiftUI, just 1 line, 2 line, you can give it title and other arguments. I think it's pretty good developer experience. Anyone on that? Like UIKit people? It's good.
It's only for different products.
Nah, views as well. Views as well. What about this? Anyone is localizing their hubs, Swift catalogs, the new view to be able to translate the contents, like giving plural, singular, English, Portuguese, whatever. And I think this will work way better if in your team you have like dedicated translators, being able to like have a nice view and just not the JSON file or anything. Just being able to have this view. What is the completion of your translation? You can see like 98% here. So you can see if you translate everything, what's the progress and what you still have to work on. Pretty good. What about that? Documentation, having a preview editor. So that if you guys have been using Markdown on VS Code, for example, it's often the case where you write your Markdown and on the left and on the right you have the automatic preview. Same for Xcode now. So you write your documentation, and on the left, on the right you have like the preview of it. Nice. Should have been there before, but now we have it. I think that was cool. If you checked about debugging, having this interactive automation explorer and being able to inspect the UI hierarchy right in your test cases. I think that was pretty good. So you have here like some kind of player at the bottom, and you can just play your test cases. In the session, it's pretty good. And you can also like deep down and check why you have an error at that point. Pretty good.
Does this work for all classes as well?
Yeah. What's that? Oh yeah, I wasn't probably looking here, but the important part is here. Bookmarks, it's good. Who was using debug points to mark their code before? To be able to find them on the debugger, to put the small debug points just for the sake of finding this part of the code. Now you have bookmarks. You can bookmarks entire, like if you want to bookmark all the functions at once, you can. All the view modifiers at once, you can. You also have like to-do list. Here you have some to-do list that you can check directly into Xcode. I think that's a nice addition. If you were using like me, debug points to do that. So something that has been greatly improved, the source control into Xcode. Who is using the source control into Xcode? Like not with the, like we've seen that Jason was using gitkraken. You have like source tree, you have GitHub desktop, you can also use the terminal if you are that kind of person. But now it was possible to do it on Xcode, but now it's way better. The ability to directly edit the code directly on here before you put it. I think there is a great improvement, and I was thinking, I was using GitHub desktop, maybe for it, I will use when I'm working on iOS, I will use this one. What about that? Ability to deploy your app in like one click. like deploy to Tesla, deploy to internal only, release just directly in Xcode. You don't have this like 5 different steps to next. That's pretty good. Same for the logging system, being able to see your logs and jump directly to the source where this log has been formed. That's a nice improvement for DX as well. So, what is this one?
The image
Yeah.
tokens generated for
Yeah.
images.
I think that's good. Yeah.
We Android have this in like
Yeah. So, for the course you don't know, so before that you were using like the string name. So if your image was like bird and here you had the string bird, so many people were using like some kind of enums. So they had their assets and images enum and static let bird image. But now at each build time they don't need this anymore. So when you change the name, Apple will compile, and if the name doesn't match, then you got a compiler error. So I think that's pretty good for images as well, like colors and anything. Yeah, but 100%. I mean, now that you ask the question, I'm like, okay, but I mean, if this works for images and doesn't work for colors, that would be weird.
It's so specific. Images. I hope that it will.
Yeah, me too. Gotta check. Yeah, I didn't see that was, but maybe they can find that it's an image, so this is why this takes. We'll see. That's good. That one. So this is what Eugene was talking about. Reality Composer Pro. So to make your treasure, it's nice with sound effect and that's pretty interesting. So directly into Xcode, next to the instrument, you have now possibility to work on your scenes, on your 3D content. There is an entire session again, and building this kind of scene is pretty easy now, with sounds and effects, clouds and particles. Yeah, so I have 2 more before wrapping up. So this is something that I didn't know where to put it, so I just put it in the other section. But who is familiar with the OpenAPI? OpenAPI, like you don't necessarily use it as a front-end engineer, but if you do some backend, where you the documentation of your endpoints of your API in YAML or JSON, it's a big documentation protocol or convention. So I was very happy to see that now it's supported in Swift. So if your backend developers, they give you the OpenAPI, you just run 2-3 commands and it's building you the client library. So pretty much if you, maybe not, but if you know about like Prisma on the backend, the ability to have a client that gives you all the codes that you can use, and for example the query, you have like the properties and so on, generating all the networking layer for you just with the documentation. I think that's pretty awesome. So I will, in the future meetup, I think I will do a presentation about that. I think that's great. Okay, then for the designer, we are all designers in us, but if previously the official design were supported by Sketch and Adobe XD, but now we have it's still in beta, but it's getting ready. The availability to check all the Apple design resources for Figma. So I don't know who is happy about that. I am. Okay, and that's